Hello, Year 2, how are you? And welcome to today's English lesson. Now, how did you get on in the lesson yesterday? Were you able to write the beginning of your very own Bubble story? Fantastic, well done if you were, and I'm really looking forward to seeing your stories when you send them to the office. Were you also able to correct all the capital letters, the full stops, and check that all of your verbs are in the past tense? Fantastic, well done if you were, because that's a brilliant skill to have, to be able to check your work and correct it, so well done. Now, you've probably guessed, today we're going to be writing the middle of our Bubble story. So by the end of the lesson, you will have written about the second place and the third place that Gabby goes on her adventure. And like last time, you'll also check your work for capital letters, full stops, and to check that all the verbs are in the correct tense, because remember, we're writing a story, so it needs to be in the past tense. Now, when I've been looking at your work from home, it's absolutely brilliant, but the one thing I think we need to work on is when to use capital letters. So therefore, we are going to do our retrieval practice, our retrieval activity at the beginning of our lesson on capital letters. So here you go. Here's a little paragraph, and it says, on Friday, I'm going to visit my nan at her farm. Nell and her sister may join me. She will let us feed the hens. She has goats and cows as well as hens. It is fun on the farm. So what I'd like you to do is pause the video and see if you can correct this sentence looking at the capital letters. Okay, pause the video now and have a go. Okay, Year 2, how did you get on? Well, you need to remember that capital letters are used for days of the week, places, months, names, and at the beginning of sentences, as well as for the pronoun I when I say I. Okay, so thinking about that, let's have a look. On Friday, oh, Friday, what's that? Yes, it's a day of the week. So therefore, there is our first correction. We need to change Friday into a capital letter. On Friday, I am going to visit. Ooh, what else do you realise here? Yes, that's right. There's an I, there's the pronoun I. And remember, I am important. So you need to have it as a capital letter. There we go. Now, on Friday, I am going to visit my nan at her farm. Now, what else needs a capital letter in this sentence? Yes, you're right. Nan needs a capital letter because Nan is the name of a person. Okay, at her farm. Does farm need a capital letter? No, it doesn't, does it? Because it doesn't have a specific name. It's just a farm, okay? If her Nan's farm had a special name, then you'd have to put a capital letter for it. So we've done that sentence. Let's move on to the next sentence. Nell and her sister may join me. Now, what do you notice at the start? Yes, there isn't a capital letter at the start of our sentence. Not only is it a name, Nell, it's also at the start of our sentence, so it needs a capital letter. And her sister may join me. Oh, what's wrong here? Well, yes, we've got a random capital letter that needs to be changed to a lowercase. We don't need a capital letter for her. Okay, she will let us feed the hens. Okay, so I've got my capital letter at the start of my sentence. Do I need to change anything else? No, I think we're good with that sentence because we don't need one for hens because that's not a name. Okay, next sentence. She has goats and cows as well as hens. Okay, do we need any capital letters here? Yes, we do, don't we? At the start of our sentence, that needs to be a capital letter. And then the last sentence, it is fun on the farm. Where are we missing our capital letter again? Yes, at the beginning of our sentence. Fantastic. Well done, Year 2. And this will help you when you come to writing the next part of your story to make sure that all of your capital letters are in the correct place. And you can double check this when you look at your work again once you've written it. So as I said, this lesson, we're going to be writing about place 2 and place 3 in our bubble story. So let's look at my plan for place 2. So I've got all my adverbs of manner, all my adverbs of place, my coordinating conjunction, and my expanded noun phrases. So if you'd like to have a quick read of those, so pause the video, I won't read them all to you. Okay, so now you've read all of the things that I want to have in my paragraph. Shall we see how I put those in my paragraph? Okay, so here is my paragraph for place 2. I'll read it all to you and then we will look at each sentence at a time. So suddenly the bubbles magically created a path in front of Gabby. She was intrigued to find out where the bubbles would take her next, so she jumped carefully from bubble to find out. Eventually, she arrived underneath the sea. She looked curiously around her and saw the brightly coloured, delicate coral. and schools of busy, splashing fish. As she swam gracefully, she could feel the tangled, slippery seaweed beneath her feet, and the clear, salty seawater sneakily entered her mouth each time she took a breath. Okay, so let's go through this sentence by sentence. So suddenly, the bubbles magically created a path. So that's how they created them. They created them magically. So there's my adverb of manner. A path in front of Gabby. Suddenly, the bubbles magically created a path in the distance. Suddenly, the bubbles magically created a path at Gabby's feet. Suddenly, the bubbles magically created a path in the sky. Okay, so can you see, even though I've written in front of Gabby as my adverb of place, there are lots of different options that you can write. Remember, this is your own piece of writing. She was intrigued to find out where the bubbles would take her next. So, there's my coordinating conjunction. Remember, after so, you need a consequence. So what's she going to do? She jumped carefully from bubble to find out. She jumped nervously from bubble to find out. She jumped quickly from bubble to find out. She jumped softly from bubble to bubble. She jumped excitedly from bubble to bubble. Can you see again, even though I've written carefully there are lots of different adverbs of manner that you can use to describe how Gabby jumped. Eventually, she arrived underneath the sea. Eventually, she arrived between the fish, amongst the fish. Eventually, she arrived under the water. Okay, eventually she arrived at the bottom of the sea. Okay, so look at all these different adverbs of place that you can use. I've used eventually she arrived underneath the sea, but there are lots of different options that you can use. Okay, next sentence. She looked curiously around her. Okay, curiously, so that's describing how Gabby is looking. She looked anxiously. She looked excitedly. She looked nervously. She looked inquisitively around her. So around her, that is my adverb of place. And saw, oh, I've forgotten to colour code my coordinating conjunction there. That should be in pink, shouldn't it? So, and saw the brightly coloured, delicate coral and schools of busy, splashing fish. So I've included two of my expanded noun phrases for the sense of sight, as well as getting a coordinating conjunction in there, the and. Okay, now you can use the expanded noun phrases that you created for the sense of sight. Okay, these are the ones I created. So she looked curiously around her and saw the brightly coloured, delicate coral and schools of busy, splashing fish. A school is a group of fish when fish swim together. As she swam gracefully, as she swam elegantly, as she swam slowly, as she swam quickly. Okay, so lots of different adverbs of manner that can describe how she swam. She could feel the tangled, slippery seaweed beneath her feet. Okay, so I've again used a expanded noun phrase for the sense of touch. And I've said beneath her feet, or you could say under her, or at the bottom of the sea, on the sea floor. Okay, there are lots of different options that you can use for an adverb of place within the sea. And the clear, salty seawater sneakily, also it sneakily entered her mouth. So she didn't want it to enter her mouth, but when she opened her mouth, it went inside. So, and the clear, salty seawater sneakily entered her mouth each time she took a breath. So there you go, year two. There is my paragraph for location 2. Now, can you see in such a small paragraph, I've included so many adverbs of place and adverbs of manner and expanded noun phrases and coordinating conjunctions. So now it's your turn, okay? I would like you to have a go at writing your paragraph for the second place that Gabby goes on her magical adventure in your story. Okay, so pause the video now and have a go.